Okay, so it is the 1st of November. It's been about a month since we competed. Obviously, we've transitioned very much to an off season here, so we are putting on some weight. We are looking to put on some mass. I'm hoping that we're not putting on some weight too fast. Some weird transitional things have been happening, I guess, from going from a competition to gaining weight. Obviously, the last sort of decade of my life, I've spent trying to lose weight rather than trying to gain weight. So, deliberately putting on weight for me is a very, very strange concept. It's also kind of odd because a lot of people expect you to intentionally eat food at events. So I go to a lot of family events, a lot of parties and get-togethers and gatherings. And at that time, everyone's sort of like, oh, good to have you back. Make sure you eat, blah, 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 enjoy yourself. And obviously I can, but it's supposed to still be within like a normal, moderate amount. And if you just say no or you don't want to, people are like, oh, are you doing another show? Are you bound to Tupperware again? Blah, 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 relax. It's not healthy, yada, yada, yada. And it is a little bit sort of like isolating in a way. So it hasn't been fantastic for my diet being pushed by sort of generally everyone to eat a little bit more than I'm probably supposed to at these events. But technically speaking, I'm on 2,800 calories per day, and that's been sort of gaining me weight fairly steadily. I'm currently 83 kilos, so we are 9 kilos up in a month. But it looks like it's tapering out, and I don't think that I'm actually 9 kilos. There's been a few instances, obviously, where we've had big meals. Again, I said we'll be going out to events. Sometimes early on, so the first couple of weeks, I was probably sitting closer to maybe 3,000 or 3,200 instead of 28, just because I was just so massively hungry. And in my head, there was no technical reason why I needed to be hungry and also be gaining weight at the same time. So if I'm going to be getting fatter, I may as well get fatter and also be full. But it's sort of controlling the speed. So that's sort of where we're at the moment. I'm really, really hoping that I'm not getting too fat too fast because it has been fairly quick. But I guess I'm trying to work out if there's like a tapering out point. I really don't want to get back to 89. That's where we were before. And that was 22% body fat. And obviously cutting down from 22% body fat is going to take a while. And I don't really want to have to do that again. In a perfect world scenario, obviously on Saturday I'll find out where I'm at. But in a perfect world scenario, I don't want to get any bigger than maybe 17%, which is still heavy. It's still heavy, but it's definitely not anywhere near as big as we were. 17% will be all right. And then we can go from there down to ideally in next November, we're going to try and aim for maybe 8%. 7.5 would be wicked. But 8% would be nice because that will bring us down from 9.8 to 8% on stage. And then I'll probably be a little bit lighter or maybe the same weight, the same weight but leaner would be, in essence, the goal. Sorry, it is 6:57 a.m. So we're just still waking up here. So that's the goal, ideally, the dream, as it were. It's just, it's just hard. Like I'm really, really excited about what I can build, I guess, and what I can bring to the table next year, I suppose, because I've never done a bulk. I've literally never done an intentional bulk ever in my life. So I guess I've still got lots of growth left. What I came to the table with is just a byproduct of not gaining weight for 10 years, like deliberately. So I'm really, really curious to see how it goes. It's just, again, it's a weird diet concept, just intentionally eating the same kind of food, because it's still fairly strict, or it should be, because, if you eat more than 2,800 and that's 300 above my maintenance, you just put on fat, right? So the more I eat, the fatter I get faster. So it's more about how much fun can I have before I just become a ball again. So 83 is a bit concerning. I did some maths yesterday, and hypothetically, if I have the same body fat percentage if I have the same muscle mass, sorry, as I did when I first started the bulk, and I'm now the weight that I am, and I haven't increased any muscle whatsoever. I should be like 17.7% body fat. I don't think I'm 17.7. So that's good. I looked at some photos of where I was the start of this year on the way down, and I sort of compared myself to how I look between now and then. And I definitely don't look 17%. So, surely we've put on some muscle, right? I'm getting stronger, my lifts are getting better, so I'm hoping so. But that's really it. Like it's just reversing what I just spent 6 months doing. So it's going to be interesting just to see kind of what we can build. The entire reason why I'm happy to do it is because I've obviously got someone controlling my diet. So if I get too heavy, I guess we'll just bring it back, and we'll either make it so that my surplus isn't as big, sort of slow it down, or we'll just sort of do a little bit of a mini diet, bring myself back down a bit, and then start back up. So hopefully that works out. But I think, yeah, especially coming back from the diet generally, like from comp levels, you're just super hungry all the time. My hormones are a bit fucked up. So I'm hoping if I diet back down and I'm still like a normal body fat percentage that isn't like too crazy, and then I diet back up from there, it's going to be significantly easier to follow. Oh, again. Apologies. Yeah, it's going to be a lot easier to follow in terms of like just actually eating what I'm supposed to be eating. And the last week and a half has been a lot easier to do that. It was just the first sort of 3 weeks. That was pretty rough, in all honesty. So that's what we're doing. We are deliberately going on a bulk. It does feel bad going on a bulk and just sort of pretty much almost immediately having a much worse physique than you did have. And everyone sort of expects you to be like the fit guy. So that's sort of rough to watch all of your muscularity kind of just sort of fade into a ball. Like I feel better, definitely feel better. I really think that there were stages in prep, I would say maybe 12 to 13% body fat. If I could just sit on that indefinitely, that I looked good and I felt good. And I remember taking those photos and videos when I was at that level, and I felt pretty good. So maybe at some point I can get back down to that, but at this stage we'll see where we're at. But I'm really hopeful that I can build some shoulders. That's currently the focus. Rear delts is something that I've not really ever focused on. I have really small rear delts, and I've been hitting them deliberately fairly recently, and it feels like they're growing, so that's cool. I definitely need some traps. They're probably a little bit harder to grow, but we'll try. And then we'll build a better back, the 3 Bs, build a bigger back. Bigger back, bigger shoulders, bigger arms. Legs are probably okay. Chest is probably fine. Like it could be bigger, but it's fine. And then your core obviously comes with everything else. It's 3 yawns in one video. It's not a great look. Yeah. I don't really have anything more to add other than just sort of general plans. I'm currently reviewing Bloodshot as well, so I've done my hostility review. Look at the Bloodshot review coming up, so I'll probably film that one in a moment, I guess. The filming studio that I use for that one isn't accessible to me today, so I'll see if I can work out a better way to do it. Otherwise, I'll have to wait until the end of the week. Maybe Friday. Who knows? All good. All right. Well, I'll see you guys later. That's currently plans forward. Hopefully, I can give you guys some sort of updates on how fat we're getting, but also how muscular we're getting. I'd like to get to like a lean. I don't know. We had 69.2 kilos of lean mass on comp day, so I feel like in my head, I've never done a bulk, and I've got numbers in my head that I think are achievable, but they might not be achievable. So over the course of a bulk, and this is my first bulk, which is why I think it's probably achievable, 3 kilos would be perfect, so I could get to 72 kilos of lean mass. But that's probably unlikely. So 70 and a half, maybe 71, a kilo, a good solid strong kilo of muscle would also be nice. If not, 71 would be great. Let's see if we can do 71. That's like 1.8 kilos. That would be the bare minimum. So 1.5 to 3 would be ideal. I told someone else 3 kilos and they thought that sounds like full-on steroid levels of growth and probably not achievable. But I told someone else that was on gear that I was planning on putting on a couple kilos, and they said, oh, you can try and put on 5 or 6. And that sounds insane to me. So, who knows? We're just going to do our best, just get as big as we can without getting too fat, diet down to what we need to again, and then ideally, if we get leaner or more muscular, so we put on more muscle, it'll be easier to diet down the second time around. We'll do a couple shows. We'll see how we go.